Welcome to day 8 of the series, and today, as the title says, we are speaking industrialization. I'll explain you better. Now, centuries ago, man lived in an agrarian society. Man earned his living by cultivating crops. He invested his money into agriculture, and this brought him enough returns to feed his family. And he was content as long as his family was fed. Until inventions started emerging. Now, these inventions is where industrialization began. So, industrialization is the process of social or economic change that transformed a human group from an agrarian to an industrial society. It's better, isn't it? So, industrialization all began with the Industrial Revolution. There were many industrial revolutions, some say four, some say five, but as centuries pass by, the number of industrial revolutions keep increasing day by day, century by century. But it all began at the beginning of the 18th century, or the mid 18th century, or somewhere near the beginning of the 19th century. That's when industrialization began. And during this phase, when this revolution began, the most dominant industry was the textile industry. The textile industry was being dominant only because of the fact that steam engine was first invented. So this little invention of steam engine is what provided the impetus for the textile industry's booming, and this in turn caused the first industrial revolution. And a few years later, 100 to 200 years later, in the 19th century, is when the second industrial revolution began. But during the second industrial revolution is where the internal combustion engines started to produce or were invented. We see these internal combustion engines running our cars till date. Every automobile that we see out there is an internal combustion engine or an IC engine. So this invention of IC engine, or this refinement of the steam engine for that matter, is what caused the second industrial revolution. And the number of revolutions kept on increasing century after century. People say we're in the fifth industrial revolution right now. So as industrial revolution, it's not just the families, or it's not just the industries that have changed, the family of industries that have changed. But along with that, it's the humans that have changed, that have transferred along with them. We have more cities, we have change in people's lifestyle, we have its side effects as well, we have the negatives coming along with it as well. So industrialization in a way has made man a profit making machine, because everything that a man does is only for his profit. Man began to start thinking about money. There was a change in the man's lifestyle. Transportation boomed. And when we talk about transportation, industrial transportation was a huge aid to industrial revolution, because every good that was being processed needed to be transported. And industrial revolution aided transportation in every possible way. And transportation on the other hand was also booming with the help of industrial revolution. Detroit is a perfect example for that. Henry Ford started building cars, and that is when transportation in itself brought in a new phase of industrial revolution. Automobiles was a whole new industry. So different industries came booming up. People started getting greedy. People are now more money minded. And going to the negatives. The negatives is where child labor came into play. Women were being forced to work. Women were being tortured. Lots and lots of side effects or negatives. The main one among them being, of course, pollution. Industries polluted everything. They polluted land, they polluted air, water. Every sort of pollution was being carried out. Nuclear pollution is whole another thing. So these were the phases. The 20th to the 21st century were the phases where industrial revolution was gaining its prominence. Industrialization on the whole was gaining its prominence and destroying the earth for that matter. The inventions came up, technology boomed up, but on the other hand, it was where the earth was destroying by itself due to this. Industrialization was causing the earth to deteriorate itself. And that is when we started thinking on bringing a new industrial revolution or bringing a new form of industrialization. So if you look at the industrialization right now, The processes that we do, the investments that go today, is exactly the opposite of what happened back then. Because if you see the investments right now, the majority of the investments goes to bioengineering, it goes into cleaner engineering, it goes into sustainability, it goes to environment. Everything that we see out there needs to be clean, pollution free, nuclear. So these are all industries that are trying to undo what the early industries have done. Be it fashion industry, be it automobile industry. Electric cars is a perfect example for that. Coming to fashion industry, we are trying to bring in textiles or textile products that are biodegradable. So industries now are trying to undo what the industries did back then, pollute the environment back then, and now depollute the environment now. We're slightly late, but it's better late than never. So having said this, industrialization today is on a gradual change. It's changing towards a man's good. Not just the man good, the collective good of the whole earth, the whole planet for that matter, and our neighboring planets as well. And we have a whole new set of investments going into the other planet. For example, we have investments going into Mars and bringing in a colony over there. Sustainable means to find another solutions. Now that will open up a whole new set of debate if we would like to invest in Mars or continue just like this, make use of our resources in the earth. I'll bring in a video on that as well. So this is what I would like to conclude. I would like to conclude that the industrial revolution that's happening today is for the collective good, or the industrialization for that matter. Industrialization, it's not the industrial revolution, it's the industrialization that's happening today. It's for the good. Because as far as investments go into sustainable engineering, as far as it goes to better software, it goes into blockchain technology, everything that we see right now, everything that's happening around us right now, is for sustainability, is for a better living, is for the collective good. So I personally feel this is going to be a positive take, and let us all benefit from this so that we can have a better future generation and all of them living peacefully. Having said this, have a good day, and sorry for the late video, but take care. Bye.